Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be doing what if Naruto was an Uchiha. Now I apologize for not uploading for almost a week. So yeah. And anyways, without further ado, let's get started. And also just a quick note. I will start continuing my Senju series after this part. So yeah. And anyways, without further ado, let's actually get started. So we left off when Naruto completely destroyed Mizuki, and Iruka gave Naruto the title of Genin. Then, after a couple of days, Naruto would go to this room in the academy where he was supposed to do stuff because he just became a Genin. But then he would see all of his classmates, his previous classmates in the academy, and then Naruto would be wondering why his classmates are here. Then Naruto would sit right next to a seat by Sasuke. And then Sakura and Ino would come in, arguing each other that they came into the classroom first. But then they will realize that they weren't even first, because there were other people in the class before them. And then Sakura then would say, Sasuke! And then Naruto would be thinking, why does he always fall for Sasuke? I literally beat him so much times, and she still won't fall for me. And then Sakura would push Naruto out of the sea. Then Naruto would yell out, what was that for? And then Sakura then would say, Sasuke, don't you mind letting me sit right next to you? Sasuke wouldn't have no response. And then Sakura would just sit there anyway. And then Iruka would tell them the teams. The teams will be the same thing as normal. Then Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would go to a different room for waiting for their sensei. Hours passed by. Naruto then would say, it's been hours. Other people's teams got their sensei, and literally our sensei is totally late. And then Naruto would think revenge for this, so he would decide to pull a prank on the sensei. Then, of course, the sensei, which is Kakashi, would open the door, and then he'll get a eraser hit on his head. And then Naruto would start laughing. Sakura would tell the sensei, Kakashi, that she is sorry, and she tried to stop Naruto. But then Kakashi would pick up the eraser from the ground, and then he would tell them that his first impression of this group was that they were a bunch of idiots. They would all have an irritated look on their faces. And then Kakashi then would say, alright, you guys, meet me on the rooftop. And then Kakashi would suddenly, poof. Then Naruto would recognize this as the Shadow Clone Jutsu. And then Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would walk up to the rooftop. And then Kakashi then would say, so, you guys, tell me your goals, dreams, your likes, or your hobbies, or whatever you guys are, or whatever you guys like doing. The same stuff would happen, just like in canon, of course, the dreams, hobbies, blah, 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 likes and dislikes. So, yeah. And then Kakashi then would say, well, at 5 a.m., meet me at this particular training ground, and we will be doing an exercise. But then Naruto then would have a weird impression face on his on his face. And then Sakura then would say, what, are we doing some academy training or whatever? We already did that. So, and that's how we got here. Then Kakashi then would start laughing. And then he would tell them that this is nothing like their previous training. And then Kakashi then would just repeat and tell them that you need to meet at this particular training ground at 5 a.m. Then he would tell them also, do not eat. And then Kakashi would poof. And then Naruto would realize that that was also another shadow clone. And he would be thinking that their sensei is kind of like a mystery. And then Team 7 would appear at that particular training ground at 5 a.m. They didn't see Kakashi at all. Naruto would be thinking that he was probably late. And then, after hours, Kakashi would actually finally arrive. And this is actually the real Kakashi. And then, Kakashi would wake up Naruto and Sakura. But, of course, Sasuke, just like in the original, didn't sleep. And then Kakashi then would say, alright, it's set for noon. But before he could say begin, Naruto would start rushing at Kakashi, trying to punch him. But then Kakashi would catch the punch, and then Naruto would try to send a kick under his legs. But then Kakashi would grab his leg and then put a kunai to his neck. And then Kakashi then would say, I didn't say start yet. And then Naruto then would say, fine. And then Kakashi then would say, well, you guys are having a little killer instinct. Maybe I'm starting to like you guys. Then Kakashi would say, alright, let's actually begin. Then Kakashi then would say, start. Then Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would jump in the air by channeling chakra into their legs. Then Naruto would peer behind Kakashi. Then he would tell Kakashi that he would be fair and square. And then Kakashi would pull out his book. Naruto would think that was a weapon, but it wasn't. It was just an ordinary book. Then Naruto would tell Kakashi why is he weren't reading that book. But Kakashi then would respond and say that, well, to of course figure out what the book about. And then Naruto took this offensive. And then Naruto would start running at Kakashi, saying that he will crush him. Naruto would try to elbow Kakashi, but Kakashi would block this with no effort. And then Naruto would try to swift kick him again, but then Kakashi would dodge this easily while reading his book. And then Kakashi would basically actually kick Naruto in the back, and then he would do the Leaf Village secret jutsu, 1,000 years of death. And then Naruto would be sent to that pond that was near the training grounds. And then Kakashi then would think, well, that was useless. But then Naruto would appear with clones of himself. So much, in fact, that Naruto started to get serious. And then Naruto actually started to use more of his taijutsu skills and shuriken skills. Naruto would throw shuriken along with his other clones, throwing shuriken as well. Then they would all go past Kakashi, but then they would all hit each other. And so much shuriken are actually going after Kakashi. Kakashi is really surprised by this, and he can't believe that Genin is really skilled in shuriken like this. And then Kakashi would actually stop reading the book and actually dodge all of these shuriken kunai. Naruto didn't expect Kakashi getting hit by that. Then Naruto would go through a couple hand signs. Then he would yell out fire style, fireball jutsu. Kakashi can't believe that Naruto is doing those hand signs right now. And he would think that there's no way he can do the fire style fireball jutsu, it takes too much chakra. But then Naruto would actually do it. And then Sasuke took this as an advantage. Then Sasuke would also throw his own shuriken and kunai. And then Sasuke would also use the fire style fireball jutsu as well. Kakashi then would notice, of course, the fireballs and shuriken from Sasuke's perspective. And then Kakashi would be able to dodge the fireballs and the shuriken. But then Sasuke then would tell Naruto, we need to make a plan in order to defeat him. Then Naruto then would say, yeah, we should do a combination attack. But then Sasuke then would remember that he is a rival against Naruto. But then he would be thinking that there's no way he can pass if, if they don't work together. So then Sasuke would think that they should do a collaboration jutsu. Then Naruto would say, yeah, that's actually good. And then Sasuke then would say, alright, you ready, Naruto? Then Naruto then would say, yeah. Naruto and Sasuke would run in opposite directions. They would all grab a kunai. They would both grab a kunai and then try to strike Kakashi. Kakashi would pull out his own two kunai, and then they would, of course, attack each other. But then they would both back up, and then Naruto would create so much shadow clones. And some of the shadow clones would transform into Sasuke, and then they would mix up. And they don't even... And Kakashi actually fell for this a little bit, and he doesn't even know who's actually Sasuke and Naruto. So then one of Naruto's clones would pop out of the ground, trying to grab one of the bells. But Kakashi would grab this clone and then poof it by, punching it in the face. And then he would start fighting other clones, destroying them all. But until there are 6 clones left. Then all of the clones would go through a couple of hand signs. 3 of those clones would be doing the fire style fireball jutsu, and the other 3 would be doing the fire style fire dragon jutsu. And then Naruto and Sasuke would be doing the fire style great fireball jutsu in a collaboration style. And also, of course, those 6 clones are also collaborating this. And they would send this humongous combination jutsu, and they would also combine those fire dragon and those in the humongous fireball that Sasuke and Naruto created, creating a humongous fire dragon. Kakashi can't believe this, and Kakashi actually needs to do something, and he realized that this was a really good combination attack. So he would decide to actually use his Sharingan, and Kakashi would be able to do the Earth style mud wall. But the reason why he needs to activate his Sharingan so he can make it bigger, because the Sharingan grants, of course, it grants higher chakra reserves. So yeah. Then Kakashi would do the Earth style mud wall, and then that humongous fire dragon would collide with the mud wall. The fire dragon actually almost went through it. It went through it, but it was like a really small size still. It was like a normal fire dragon jutsu. Then Kakashi would dodge this by using, of course, the Sharingan. And Kakashi would copy this jutsu, and he would send a fire dragon jutsu at Naruto and Sasuke. And he realized that Naruto and Sasuke are really, scaled for their age. And then he would send the fire dragon jutsu. And then Kakashi would be able to do a water dragon jutsu as well, trying to, end this because he doesn't want them to get the bells. And then the fire dragon jutsu and the water dragon jutsu would hit Naruto and Sasuke, but they would poof. And then Kakashi then would say, "What?" And then Naruto and Sasuke would get both of the bells like that. But then Kakashi then would say, "But how?" But then Kakashi would pull down his headband because he doesn't want them to know that he has a Sharingan. And then Naruto then would say, "Well, we did a plan, of course." Then Kakashi then would say, "Well, I know you did a plan, but explain to me how you did it." Then Naruto then would say, "Well, that humongous fireball that collided with our humongous fire dragon, well, that wasn't actually supposed to attack you. That was supposed to be a distraction." And then we switched place. I switched places by creating 2 more shadow clones. One of them transformed into Sasuke. And then we sneakily went behind you right after when you did the water dragon jutsu and the fire dragon jutsu. And that's how we got the bells. Kakashi was really proud of Naruto and Sasuke. Of course, Kakashi wasn't trying as much at all, really. So, yeah. And then Sakura was actually watching all of this. And she didn't really do anything, of course. And then Naruto then would say, So, me and Sasuke pass? And then Kakashi then would say, no. And then Naruto and Sasuke would be like, well, what? How? And then Kakashi then would say, because you didn't include Sakura. And then Naruto and Sasuke's eyes would widen. Then Kakashi would explain to them that a Genin squad needs to use their full team, and they use only teamwork, usually. And teamwork is a really good key in ninja life. Well, as a shinobi. And it can prevent death also in battle. So then Higashi then would say, so that's why you guys failed. So Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, come over here. Then Kakashi would go to 3 logs, and then he would knock out Naruto, and then he would tie Naruto to the log. And then Naruto would wake up. And then Kakashi then would say to them, alright, you guys. Then Naruto you would notice that he's tied up, and then he would say, well, why am I tied up? Get me out. Then Kakashi then would say, no, you're not getting out yet. Then Naruto then would say, why? Why did you do that? Then Kakashi then would say, after when Sasuke and Sakura are finished with their lunch, and you two, if you share Naruto any food, you would automatically fail and will never even go back to the academy. Then Kakashi would go away. But he wasn't actually really away. He was trying to see if they would actually, give the food to Naruto. And he actually wanted them to give the food. Because if they did, then, of course, they are worthy of being, of course, a team. Then Sasuke decided to feed Naruto. And you would notice, well, he thought that Kakashi wasn't here. So he would feed Naruto a little bit of food. But then, just before Naruto was about to take the last bite, Kakashi would appear. And then he would tell them, "Are you ready for your punishment?" And then Naruto and Sasuke are frightened and scared that they'll never ever become a shinobi now. But then Kakashi then would say, "You all pass." And that's where we'll leave it off right there. Now, yes, I'm trying to weekly upload right now. So, yeah, I'll try to upload at least multiple, like at least 2 times a week. At least that's my goal for, like, uploading. For my upload goal is to at least upload 2 times a week. So yeah. And anyways, peace. But I'll always try to, I'll always at least upload like 1 time a week. If not, then I might be doing a lot of major, like stuff. So yeah. Anyways, actually, let's just end this video off right there.